at 10, a Mounds View wife issues a desperate plea in the search for her missing husband.
I don't know what happened to him. I was afraid that he'd been hurt.
Tonight, the clues in the case that have the whole family worried. Plus, runners on alert following a dangerous encounter near Lake Harriet.
And a state capitol mystery more than 100 years in the making.
The Historical Society is trying to track down what happened to hundreds of pieces of furniture that disappeared from the Capitol over the years. Details coming up.
Thanks for joining us. Worry is mounting for the family of a Mounds View man who vanished 7 days ago. Henry McCabe hasn't shown up for work in a week.
And a final phone call to his wife has police and family members redoubling search efforts. John Croman is here now with more. John?
You know, Henry McCabe is a father of two, a husband, active in his union, active in the Liberian community, and from all accounts loves his job. So his disappearance just doesn't make any sense.
It's not like Henry McCabe to vanish. Not from his family in Mounds View or his job as an auditor at the Minnesota Department of Revenue in St. Paul.
He loves his job. He never misses it. This isn't normal. Anyone who knows him can tell you that this isn't him.
Corrine McCabe was in California the last time she got a call from her husband at 2:23 a.m. last Monday. She believes that he dialed her accidentally.
It sounded as though he was outside. It sounded as though he was walking, but it sounded as though he was speaking to someone. At the end of the call, it sounded as though he'd been injured. It sounded like he cried out.
Earlier that night, he'd been at a club on Highway 65 in Spring Lake Park with a group of friends, but none of them have a clue as to where he is now.
He loves people. He loves the people that he connects with. He doesn't go 10 minutes without connecting with someone, whether it's someone he knows or just saying hi to someone on the street and striking up a conversation. That's who he is.
McCabe's family searched the area around a Super America on Highway 65 in Fridley based on a report that someone dropped him off there after they left the club. That part of the story doesn't make any sense to Corrine, but then again, nothing about this nightmare really adds up.
Fear. I don't know what happened to him. I was afraid that he'd been hurt, and I called all the hospitals, and no one has seen him.
The Mounds View police are still gathering evidence and waiting for T-Mobile to come up with a final location for Henry McCabe's cell phone, which would help them narrow their focus. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, John. The Minnetonka community is joining efforts to support a University of Minnesota student hit by a cab. A fundraiser for Teddy O'Reilly will take place at Maynard's, where he worked, from 5 to 9 tomorrow night. O'Reilly is recovering from head injuries after this month's collision near 4th Street and 12th Avenue in Dinkytown.
New at 10, a safety alert for runners who train around Lake Harriet in the early morning hours. Police say a man grabbed a woman's backside as she jogged around the lake last Tuesday. She did run away, but the man followed after her and she screamed. That's when she says he ran off in the opposite direction. Investigators say the incident, though isolated, still is cause for concern.
That doesn't mean that this individual will not act out again, which is the whole reason behind our crime prevention specialist putting out a crime alert. We want people to be aware, and we would like people to be safe.
Officers remind runners to stay on well-lit paths, look alert, and make eye contact with people. And they say be aware of your surroundings.
A Maplewood man faces second-degree murder charges in the shooting death of his adult son. Court documents say 90-year-old Kenneth Bowser admitted to firing at his 65-year-old son Larry during a fight over the television. Neighbors told police that Larry treated Kenneth with respect, even though his father's dementia was getting worse. In Apple Valley, police say an Alert Citizens 911 call may have saved the life of a woman who was stabbed. The witness saw a car parked off of Pilot Knob Road overnight with its lights still on and no one inside. When police got to the scene, they found a man in a nearby yard with a knife and a self-inflicted stab wound, and a woman lying next to him with similar injuries.
We'd like to thank the resident that stopped and notified us of this. Us getting there within a few minutes likely saved this woman's life. She wasn't able to call for help or help herself.
That woman is at Regents Hospital tonight. Despite CPR efforts, the man with the knife died at the scene. Police still have yet to identify the couple.
In Forest Lake, police say a man lived with his girlfriend's body for several days before a neighbor noticed a bad smell and called 911. Police found 27-year-old Lauren Mason inside with a woman's body covered with blankets. Mason told officers they fought and he punched, strangled, and stabbed her. Well, Minneapolis police are trying to return hundreds of stolen items, which were all recovered from a home on the city's north side. They range from usual things you might imagine, like cell phones and computers, to the unusual, like a steer skull and a collectible viola. Police say most of the thefts happened at the Hyatt Regency parking garage from 2013 to 2015. Surveillance video helped police identify the man they believe is the thief. A search warrant got them inside the home where they found all those items.
You would have to have been there when we did the search warrant, and it was overwhelming. It was quite a surprise. I was not expecting to find this many items.
A 34-year-old man is charged in the case. If you think some of those things might belong to you, call the Minneapolis police with the appropriate documentation.
New details on a former Minneapolis nonprofit executive charged with stealing taxpayer money. Bill Davis pleaded not guilty in federal court today, and his attorney says he plans to go to trial. Davis once led Community Action of Minneapolis. It closed last year after audits uncovered $226,000 in misspent money.
2 Minnesota lawmakers ticketed for making out in a public park have issued apologies about the incident. Initially, Representatives Tara Mack and Tim Kelly accused the park ranger who ticketed them of lying. They have since paid the fine for public nuisance and today apologized to law enforcement. Both have since resigned from the House Ethics Committee. KARE 11 has learned that the Dakota County Sheriff's Department is looking into how information of their citation went public in the first place.
Happening tomorrow, Black Lives Matter members are staging a vigil against the Bloomington City attorney. Organizers who were charged in last December's protests at the Mall of America will deliver a petition of 45,000 signatures calling for the case to be cleared. They're scheduled to be in a Minneapolis courtroom tomorrow as a judge is scheduled to rule on whether the charges should be dismissed. Trespassing charges in the case have already been dropped. The Minnesota Historical Society is putting out the call. Do you know where some of the original furniture from the state capitol is currently stored?
About half of the original pieces have just disappeared over the years. Lou Ragoose is live at the Capitol with the mystery. Lou?
Julie, the Capitol, of course, is being renovated. And when it reopens in 2017, they want as much of the original furniture as possible cleaned up and restored. But they're going to have to find it first.
This is the one in the governor's reception room.
The Minnesota Historical Society has a catalog
As a reference
of all the original furniture from the Minnesota State Capitol.
These would be more public space benches.
Most of it designed by Capitol architect Cass Gilbert. And that catalog is very useful because of the 1,600 original pieces,
We have half of those are about missing. Everything you see,
historic site manager Brian Pease
some of it's the Senate furniture from their chamber.
knows every piece kept in this warehouse until the Capitol renovation is complete.
Eagle head armchairs.
What he'd love to learn is where the missing pieces have gone.
This is all inlaid wood, so that's pretty unique for that style of benches.
He's not saying there's a furniture thief. Since the Capitol's 1905 opening, as offices and agencies moved in and out, Pease says some of the furniture likely went with them. Or if a chair broke, it easily could have been thrown out.
They might have said, well, it's not worth fixing it because there really wasn't that sense of historical importance when that might have happened.
The top furniture the Historical Society would like back are 4 roll-top desks made for the governor's reception room.
A little more ornate carving on the side.
But Pease understands several other missing models are likely now part of hundreds of other people's family histories. Whether it's the Capitol's hundreds of unaccounted chairs or 60 missing wardrobes, the Historical Society simply wants to know where they are now.
Not necessarily that we need all these pieces back, but just help tell the stories that might be out there.
Yeah, you can tell he's a historian because he's just as interested in the story of what happened to the furniture as he is in getting it back. Now, again, if you can explain how you acquired a piece of this furniture, you don't necessarily have to give it back, but you are encouraged to contact the Minnesota Historical Society so that they can take inventory of it. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Lou. Still ahead at 10, keeping it clean in a one-of-a-kind competition in Duluth. We'll take you there.
Plus, Target changes the way it's giving back to the community as it gears up for the holiday season.
And a Bemidji football player back on the field after tackling cancer. His story next in the Extra.
And in weather, what a day. Let's take a look at the daytime highs today. Not so bad, 10 degrees above average. And if you like today, well, you're going to like the next few days. We'll have the forecast through another beautiful September weekend in just a few minutes.
For a fourth straight year, the Minnesota Football Coaches Association has declared September Tackle Cancer Month in Minnesota. The MFCA encourages high school football teams to host a game and raise money for cancer research and patient aid, which benefits all of us. And for one northern city, this year's campaign is personal. Like everywhere else in Minnesota, high school football came early to Bemidji this year. And while some reluctantly gave in to the season, lineman Isaac Londa, number 67,
good luck,
all 175 pounds of him.
I'm so much smaller. I think I'm about 50 pounds lighter than the next smallest lineman there.
Welcome football back like a long-lost friend. This is Isaac's senior season, and after what he's been through, he plans to enjoy every second.
My world stopped. At that point. This is going to be hard. Okay.
It's still not easy for Isaac's mom, Jennifer, to talk about what her oldest son went through.
It shook our faith, I believe, in the beginning.
A fight with testicular cancer. It caught Isaac completely off guard.
Oh, I didn't believe it. I was thinking, maybe he's just joking around or something because no, I'm too young to get cancer. I can't get cancer, But then I just accepted it. I was like, okay, I got cancer. Well, that sucks.
It certainly was no picnic. Isaac's cancer journey lasted 4 months and included 3 chemo treatments in Fargo. The key to beating this very treatable cancer is early detection and immediate action.
You don't let the sun set on a testicular cancer. So if somebody shows up into the emergency room with a lump on their testicle and you suspect or confirm that it's testicular cancer based on an ultrasound, you take them right to the operating room, take out that testicle. That's the first step.
Here we go. One of the big steps for Isaac was to let people know he had cancer. As you can imagine, it's not easy for a young man to talk about this particular kind. But as soon as he opened up, the support flooded in.
There it is.
His teammates, especially fellow seniors, had his back through the tough times last winter. And now they're happy to have their friend back and healthy.
I definitely think that the time spent here playing football has had an impact on him and his ability to respond positively to this situation and know that he can overcome this obstacle with a lot of work, dedication, and prayer.
Oh, good one.
I learned that he's a lot stronger than I ever could have imagined.
For Jennifer, watching Isaac play with younger stepbrothers Sam and Benji is priceless. She says Isaac matured so much through his cancer fight and has been a role model to many.
I'm real proud of the young man he's become.
Oh no, I got it.
As for Isaac,
you're in the middle.
Well, he learned a lot about himself too.
Now that I know that I can do that, I feel like I can take on just about almost anything really. As long as I got some people to back me up and just help.
Good job. Good job.
We're happy to report Isaac is in remission right now. Everything looks good. The Bemidji football team will host their tackle cancer game next Friday night.
Fabulous story, Randy. Twin Cities teenager who met Taylor Swift after her recent thyroid cancer diagnosis went back to class today. But Sanibel Randolph's arrival was anything but ordinary. Spectrum High School students and teachers welcomed her with a big rally today. Look at her face. That's sweet. Sanibel is a freshman and says the support and encouragement means everything to her and her family. an emotional couple days for her, I'm sure. That
Yeah.
big Taylor Swift concert, getting to meet her, and then going to high
Wow.
school and everybody greeting you so warmly. Because high school can be a tough place. So
It can be.
I really appreciate that
You know
young
what?
man is
That's-
speaking out too.
Sometimes that's the beauty of a small school, though,
Yeah.
because they rally around each other.
You're right.
Maybe a little bit more than a bigger school, where they kind of all know each other. So,
Yeah, two very powerful stories. Rooting for both those young people, and a beautiful, beautiful
Oh my
day
goodness.
today.
You know what? A beautiful weekend and a beautiful day today, and the weekend coming up. I mean, it's nice to be able to string 3 days together, and when it happens on a weekend in September and 2 weeks in a row, are you kidding me?
It's great.
The weekend really looks good. I had a chance to be out in the sunshine today with all these beautiful people. Abby's Hope, their 8th annual golf tournament today, raised lots and lots of money, and they have a phenomenal message. Look at all these kids at the lemonade stand. They took the day off to do that, and these guys are fabulous. John, Luke, Grant, and Blair dressed up like the Ghostbusters. They won the costume award. I'm not sure how they golfed, and that young gentleman there is, of course, Scott Taylor, Abby's dad, and Katie and Scott do such a great job, and they have made a huge difference locally, statewide, and nationally to keep kids safe. And of course, with all of their swimming programs, and along with that, the pool covers and all of the changes that have gone on nationally with that, and now they are continuing that. So I appreciate being a part of it. Let's take a look at what we're going to be dealing with our weather. 83 for the high, 73 for the average, 98 for the record. Not bad at all to be 10 degrees above average, and no precipitation. And we do expect 3 more days in the 80s. Not bad at all. A couple thunderstorms here and there. The big thing you'll notice tomorrow will be these south winds. They're going to be kicking up out of the south all afternoon and gusty. And that's going to allow that 82-degree high to even feel a little, obviously a little breezy, a little cooler, but it will be humid as well. So we have a couple of summery days ahead and a few spotty thunderstorms. But the computer cast does not look very promising for much tomorrow. But on Wednesday morning, this is Wednesday morning, 7 a.m., a few spotty thunderstorms, not a big deal. The next best chance of any kind of interruption with weather will come on Thursday afternoon, with a chance of some storms that roll through, and that will cool us down for the weekend back into the 70s. So Thursday afternoon is going to be probably our only interruption for the week. For tomorrow, we're going to start out at 67 at the bus stop tomorrow morning if you're an early riser, 68 at 8 a.m. We'll be topping out at 82 tomorrow. Not bad at all. It will be quite windy, and then we'll dip down through the 70s with that wind and the high humidity. The lows this week will be quite warm as well. So here's tomorrow's high, 82 here, 81 Hayward, 81 even up in Duluth, a gorgeous Tuesday, 81 in Bemidji, 84 tomorrow in Marshall. So for tonight, a mild evening, a few passing clouds, 62 to 64. Then tomorrow we'll be in the low 80s. We expect it to be breezy with winds gusting up to 35. Now here's your 7-day. 82, once again, breezy tomorrow. Those late day thunderstorms look like they'll be few and far between. Better chance of a couple of morning showers on Wednesday and 82, and then thunderstorms Thursday afternoon, and then we chill down for the weekend, but chill down to average, 70, 73, 75. Looking like a gorgeous weekend. There's a slight chance there could be a spotty shower Friday, but otherwise looking very good as we continue to move through this beautiful month of September.
Gotta love the weekend. All right, thanks, Bill.
All right.
The holiday season is already underway for Target. The Minnesota-based retailer is planning to hire 70,000 new team members to get through the end of the year. Existing employees will also be offered additional hours.
Well, Target is changing the way it gives back to communities. It is eliminating the Take Charge of Education program that sent $32 million to schools last year. Target says it will continue to give 5% of its profits to the community, but it will focus on health and wellness programs. Details on that plan will be released tomorrow. Coming up next, we'll update you on the Vikings season opener in San Francisco.
Plus, the Twins open a big series with Detroit, chasing that final wild card spot. Dave has the highlights next.
KARE 11 Sports from the Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine Sports Desk.
The regular season is finally here. The rookie camps, the OTAs, the mini camps, the training camps, they're all over. Summer's over. School's in session, and so far the Vikings, They're failing their first class. An ugly start to this one. So much for my 28-21 prediction. A blocked field goal early on, but Blair Walsh misses his first field goal attempt of the season. Teddy's 5 of 10. Adrian Peterson, 4 carries for 14 yards. No score so far in the second quarter. Eric Perkins is covering the game in San Francisco. We'll have a complete wrap-up on KARE 11 News Sunrise. In the earlier game tonight, Falcons hosting the Eagles. Second quarter, big game for Julio Jones. 22 yards for the touchdown, 9 catches, 141 yards and 2 touchdowns. Falcons up 20-3 at the half. Later in the game, fourth quarter, after the Eagles come back to make it a 2-point game, Sam Bradford's pass is tipped, picked off to seal the win for Atlanta. The Falcons win 26-24. In typical Joe Mauer fashion, the Twins' first baseman quietly reaches base tonight in his 34th consecutive game as the Twins open up their series with Detroit with a win. Tyler Duffy on the mound tonight gets into some trouble in the first. Base is loaded for Victor Martinez, but Duffy gets him to ground into the inning-ending double play. Easy for me to say, easier to do though. Bottom of the first, base is juiced for Trevor Plouffe, sends a high fly to right field, bounces off the wall. Aaron Hicks, Joe Mauer score. Plouffe ends up with a double. Twins go in front 2-0. Very next batter, Torrey Hunter, a weak grounder. Miguel Cabrera covers it, fields it. No one's there at first. Miguel Sano scores. Twins score 4 in the first. Duffy gives up 1 run in 6 innings of work, and the Twins win the series opener 7-1. Meanwhile, it looks like the Twins will remain a game behind of Texas in the wild card. The Rangers taking care of the Astros tonight. They get the victory. Looks like it will be an exciting race down the stretch. Rangers win 5-3. And just at the right time, we might be seeing Glenn Perkins back in the bullpen suit, according to MLB.com. Perkins threw a 31-pitch bullpen session today. That's good news. Without any problem, he's scheduled to throw again on Wednesday. If all goes well, he could return on Friday. Perkins had been out with a lower back injury. And finally tonight, the Gopher football team, they play Kent State this weekend. Last Saturday, their kicker, April Goss, kicked an extra point. She is one of 2 females to score a point, the only female to score a point in the history of FBS. The other was Katie Nita, who did it many years ago. Maybe we'll see her kicking on Saturday at the bank. That's going to do it for sports. KARE 11 News continues after this.
Young couple about to be married saved their pennies for a brand new 1965 Ford Mustang. On their 50th wedding anniversary, they're about to get the surprise of their lives. Tuesday at 10 in the land of 10,000 stories.
Before we go, many people take pride in the work they do, and that was on full display at the 11th Annual Housekeeping Olympics on the Iron Range today. Housekeepers from 12 different hotels in the region participated. The event celebrates the work they do as teams compete for bragging rights and prizes. The Housekeeping Olympics included events like towel folding and carrying, bed making, and an obstacle course involving a laundry cart. I'm out immediately with the fitted sheet.
I am totally done.
The fitted sheet,
and
I'm
look
done.
at them, and they're you know, like.
Yeah, they have to work together there.
You fold laundry?
People might think that's what happened to me
Oh
when
my
I'm
God.
folding my
Really?
sheets, but no.
Dave's house will be locked before he gets home.
I just put in a ball and throw it in the corner.
Pretty much that's what happens with mine.
That's what we heard.
You'll be sleeping outside tonight.
My usual place.